Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another edition of the Papa D's Cooking Show at the Train in Fordsburg. Today I'm preparing something that most people only have at restaurants, and ask me why. Because it just takes too long to do at home. Averagely, to cook a steak, a curry, or even if you use bones or whatever you need to cook up, can take you up to 3 and 4 hours. A well done lamb shank needs to cook for at least 3 to 4 hours to have it tender. And let me give you a rundown on all the ingredients I'll be using. I'm using some tomato sauce, always use a good quality one, and Worcester sauce. Then I've got our ginger garlic paste, cinnamon, just a little bit of that kills off the odd flavor of the overwhelming flavor of raw meat. Then I'm using very little clove and ilachi. There's dana powder and ginger. Then also I've got the jeera powder. We've got haldi, a little bit of red fine chilies, aromat, some garlic nibs. Now you'll see when the meal is cooked why I've actually used the garlic nibs over and above using the paste. We've got coarse red chilies, and then of course our salt. So firstly what I'm going to do is just prepare my meat and give it a few slits so that the marinade will penetrate. I will show you now a way where you could do this in 40 minutes. That's right, just 40 minutes. I'll be doing a lamb shank. We'll first prepare it in the pressure cooker. Thereafter we'll grill it and finish it in the oven. So I've just added a little bit of oil. I'm going to add a little bit of the tomato sauce. You'll notice I won't be cooking with too much water because I want a nice thick gravy. But at the end of it all, if you need to, you could obviously thin the gravy if it's too thick, or you could thin the gravy, and if you want it thicker, then you can just reduce it a bit on a conventional stove. I'll get in the ginger garlic paste, a spoonful of that. The aromat actually gives it a nice texture when it's done, so I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of that. I'm adding a little bit of water. I don't want my tomato sauce to burn out. You'll notice I'm using very little water because ultimately when it cooks, you'll have the juices from the meat still adding to the liquid in the pot. There's a bit of cinnamon there, just 1 clove, and 1 little ilachi there for the flavor. My dana powder, I'm putting a teaspoonful of, and the jeera I'm putting a teaspoonful of. A wee bit of haldi, coarse red chilies. So what you'll have here when it's done is actually a masala barbecue sauce. A little bit of salt. Salt can always be added afterwards, so that's why I'm not putting too much, because the tomato sauce already has salt in it. And then a little bit of the ginger nibs. Give it a bit of a stir. The aroma is already starting to come out of here. And you'll see the consistency, it's nice and thick. And now all I'm going to do is rub this onto my meat. My lamb shank has fitted in perfectly into the pot. My meat is nicely covered with the sauce, and I'm almost ready to close the lid. You'll notice I used very little water. I'm just using a wee bit more. And it's time to put the lid on. Make sure your vent is closed, and I'm going to set this now for 40 minutes. There we have it. It's at 40 minutes. My lid's on, pressure's going, and now I can sit down and relax and have a cup of coffee. And by the time the coffee is done and I'm done with having my little snack, we'll be ready to serve the lamb shank. Well, so here we are. My time is up, 40 minutes. And here we go. I'm just waiting for the click so that I can open the pot. And there we are. Click is on, and look how easily it opens. Simply that way and up. Here we go. If you look at that, you can see how tender this meat is. It's actually coming off the bone. And that was just in 40 minutes. Right, so here we have it. I'm just going to dollop some sauce onto my lamb shank. In fact, I'll place it into my skillet. If you're using an oven tray, that's perfect. I'm going to dollop some sauce onto here. And then put some butter. And put it under the grill. And we'll be ready to serve. I've also prepared some potato wedges. I'd like to serve my lamb shank with potato wedges and some rice. In that there is gravy, I'm going to dollop a lot of gravy onto this one so it's not really dry, because there's a lot of meat on the lamb shank. I've got some potato wedges here. I'm going to just drop them into my air fryer for about 5 minutes. Again, this machine that I'm using here is so silent. It doesn't, if you have guests around, you could be working and having a conversation all at the same time. But anyway, that's going to be ready in 5 minutes. My lamb shank should be ready in 5 minutes, and then I'll call Chef Proud to come and help me garnish up the plate, and we're going to serve the lamb shank with potato wedges and a bit of basmati rice. I'm going to dollop a lot more of the gravy so that the gravy and the rice will actually go quite well. Right, I'm sure the lamb shank's ready, and let's get that out. There we have the lamb shank, nicely crisped on the top, and now I'm going to serve it with the basmati rice. And Chef Proud, if you can help me, I'll get you the potato wedges. If you can help me garnish up the plate, and let's serve it. I'll dollop on some more of the gravy. So here we have it, your lamb shank Aladino. I'm sure your guests will enjoy it. And remember, if you have to prepare for more than one person at home, you can quite easily put 2 lamb shanks at a time into your Philips pressure cooker, and obviously you'll get the same results. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.